You know what? Let's take. You know what? You've done a lot. You've done so much in your life already within music. How did it all start for you? 'Cause I know you've been working since the age of 15. How did it all start for you?
Yeah,
How did
that
you get
was a
into
weird
it?
one. Uh Gosh, it was just such fluke. Like everything was just a, it feels like it, there's a moment in your life where you kind of like take a step back and you go, wow, okay, that's why all those things happened, or
Hmm.
whatever, all those things at the time, they all kind of align, and you're like, oh right, that's where I kind of ended up. So yeah, back when I was 15, I was really into music, generally speaking. And yeah, I managed to get some work experience at Syco Sony, and that was like a massive eye opener to me, because it was like, I think it was at the time when Leona Lewis had broken America, and Syco Sony, a team of, I think it was like 12 or 16 people, like it wasn't above 20, and it was definitely below, sorry, it was definitely above 10. And Syco Sony, they had brought in 60% of Sony's total revenue, Sony
Wow.
Music at the time. So like, I mean, I was 15, so
Yeah.
you got to like kind of take it back a bit. So you're suddenly thrown into a world where you're working that, Simon Cowells lot, right? So
Mm.
you're like, whoa, okay, cool. This is really cool. And obviously, as a 15-year-old, all you think is like, this is really cool. Like,
Yeah.
no, but you don't actually understand the gravitas of like everything that's going on. They weren't on High Street Ken at the time. They were over in Putney, had their offices there, and Leon Jackson had just won. um uh it's actually a funny story, actually. Maybe we should go into it a little bit, but
Oh, please.
Leon, Leon Jackson had just won X Factor, but I had no idea, because I just, by 15, I was like, I'm not watching X Factor, don't be so
Yeah.
silly, or whatever, all these kind of things. Didn't know this was obviously going to happen. And I went in, and I was basically starting out by doing like Simon Cowell's fan mail, essentially, kind of going through that, which was a weird experience in itself, because I didn't understand anything in terms of the music industry, and just even those processes are small, but they're quite significant, and how you kind of like manage at scale. And then Leon Jackson came in, but I had no idea who he was, because I hadn't been
Yeah.
watching. So I like, he walks in, and he's like, oh yeah, do you want to go grab some lunch and everything like that? Poor guy didn't obviously know that I was 15,
Yeah.
and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, sure, like, kind of don't know who the hell you are or whatever. Just starts chatting to me. My job was basically to sit on a sofa all day, watch music videos in their kind of like lobby area, because they didn't have a desk for me, because it was just work experience, and just like sort out like all the fan mail. And so he sat next to me, and we just had a bit of a chat, and then I just remember going. I went to lunch, and I think he was in a meeting or something like that. Didn't kind of wait around, and then managed to kind of spot him. He basically came over the bridge and sat down with me, and he goes, yeah. So what are you up to and everything? And I was like, oh well, doing this work experience. I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry, but I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And so it's always awkward, because like the guy, like, I mean, you got to put yourself in his position. I think he was like 19 at the time, and he like literally just shot to fame, like had no concept of what else was going on, and obviously was expecting like that everybody knows his name, because it's one of the most popular TV programs ever. And yeah, we just had a really weird chat about, oh well, this is, what it was like, before and after, and some of the stuff that he was getting. It was a really deep conversation for like a good hour, but
Hmm.
like it was kind of like one of those passing moments where you're just like, you came, I mean, I went back to school after that, like, I
Yeah.
mean, after my work experience, everyone was like, apparently like you've been hanging out with Simon Cowell and like Leon Jackson, and I was like, yeah, I don't know who Leon Jackson is still. Like, I'm still like kind of like just a bit mystified. To me, he was just a person. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. Simon Cowell, yeah, Simon came in a couple of days and everything like that. So, but you know what? Honestly, the biggest thing from that whole experience was that it triggered something in me, that I was like, okay, I want to do something. I want to do this. And there was a lot of people there. His number two, Sonny, at Syco. I don't know whether he stepped down. I think he stepped down now. But he's got an incredible ear for scouting talent. you know, he spends a lot of time. I remember there was a guy called Ridian at the time. I don't know whether you remember
Hmm.
him.
I
He was
remember.
like the runner up, and I remember he just had his album on like full blast on repeat in his office, and like, I could hear it, and everyone could hear it. But it was because he was trying to kind of get used to some of the songs, I think, and train his ear a bit more because of like what would be good. I don't know. I'm just only assuming what was kind of going on there, but I just remember it was just like on repeat. Listening to that and seeing how they can kind of like market them, there it also opened up a kind of like, you know, we were dealing with Cheryl Cole at the time as well, so I had to take out like loads of the newspaper snippets, and just so that she was about to they were going to take her over to America. I didn't know this at the time. I was just told to do a task. Now in context I can see what it is. But all of these small things, like they train you in like a way in which you don't really realize at the time, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, right, well, that's the reason why you do that, and you build this, and you put this team in here, and that's why. And it's such a small thing at the age of 15, but it triggered everything for me, to really kind of, you know, this first time I've spoken about that, I think, in public or at depth, actually. Yeah, I hope that's useful for somebody.
Definitely. I've learned a lot already.